That's some good bourbon right there. This is actually, I don't even know what that bourbon is, but it's good. I like to put 1 cube of ice in my bourbon. I'm one of those kind of guys. I don't know if you're one of those purists.
Ellington Reserve.
Oh, so this isn't even a bourbon. This is a whiskey. This is a Canadian whiskey. That's Canadian, right, Drew? Ellington Reserve?
Yep.
Canadian. Wow, those Canadians. Pretty good. Here's to you if you're Canadian. You ever been to Canada? You ever watched people you like on YouTube they're from Canada? Here's to you. This is good. It's very good stuff. Ellington Reserve. That's like a 8 or 10-year-old whiskey, I think. Is that right, Drew? Have you still got it in front of you there?
Yeah.
Yep, good stuff. Speaking of some good stuff, we talked in one of our other videos about how important it is that we have direct communication. Direct communication matters a lot. And by the way, you will be able to find that other video if you look at that link right up there. Drew's going to throw a link up there for you about triangulation. And triangulation is something that happens when instead of talking with a person directly, we talk about that person. So you might want to watch that video if you haven't, and then come back to this one because this will make quite a bit more sense. You know, I say it a lot, leadership matters. But leadership is also hard. And I've noticed, I've done this myself, and I've hung around a lot of you, we sometimes make it harder than it needs to be. So here's another idea that's a small change that you can make right away, makes a great big difference in how you and I lead people. So you're either a leader, or you are a manager, or you're a supervisor, or you're an influencer of people. And we want to share some of these ideas with you. This is part of the HILT Academy, high impact leadership training. And this is the YouTube side of what we do. We also have some classes that we offer for folks that are courses that organize all of this stuff. And you can meet other people in that process all online and help you sharpen your skills so that you can make a small change that makes a big difference right away. I'm D. Hicks, by the way. Thanks for taking some time to join me. And I hope your day is going great. I hope this few minutes right here will help you sharpen some of your skills and perspectives. So we have a really interesting idea here, and that is as old as dirt. It's this. If you got a challenge with somebody, if you have a problem with somebody in the workplace, go to them directly. Don't go to somebody else first. Don't go to somebody else to seek advice or perspective or to just feel better. Go directly to that person. I think we've kind of lost our ability to do that, though, because we have become increasingly polite and increasingly sensitive, or at least we are pretending to be sensitive, and everyone can easily get offended. So we find that, oh no, or at least we think people can get offended. I'm not sure people get as offended as we think they do. So we find that we need to be nice all the time. We kind of walk on eggshells all the time. So we're a little bit less direct, or a lot less direct in some cases, when we need to address a problem. And the problem, of course, that we're experiencing, we think, is all with that person. And so we are highly motivated to have them do something differently. So instead of triangulating with them, we need to communicate with them directly. But how do we do it? How do we actually do it? Here's a model which we have called the OIC. 3 letters, OIC. If you use it correctly, you and that other person will both say, oh, I see. That's how you know it actually works. Let's unpack this a little bit for you. Have you ever had someone come up to you and say, why are you so angry? And you say, well, I'm not angry. They say, well, yes, you are. You're angry. You just did this. You must be angry. No, I'm not angry. Yes, you are. You're angry. No, I'm not angry. Oh, there. I knew it. I knew you were angry. They just did a version of the OIC that's the wrong version. The O in the OIC stands for observed behavior. The I stands for the interpretation of what we've observed. What do we think it means? The interpretation of what we have observed behaviorally. The C stands for confirmation. Observe, interpret, confirm. Now, the human brain is really, really, really good at the second step and the third step. Not all that good at the first step. Step one, observed behavior. If I watch somebody do something, I will instantly interpret what I think that behavior means. And if that behavior means something to me that's like a perceived threat, something that, oh, that's uncomfortable, I'm not going to like that, I will then start confirming that they've done that kind of thing before. My mind will go on a hunt. I'll pet the fur off of it, wondering, when have they done stuff like that before? And I will find it. It's a loop in our brain. Observe the behavior, interpret what it means. If it's negative, confirm it, and go on a hunt for more behavior to observe. And we spiral our way into that. It happens very, very quickly. There's a term for that, by the way. It's called confirmation bias. We're trying to confirm what we already think is true. We are biased toward thinking more of what we already think is true. Now, we know that neurologically, driven by some fascinating neurochemical and psychological processes that are usually under our awareness and highly effective and really fast, that when we do the observe and it's a negative interpretation, we're much faster to confirm those other behaviors. We're much faster to do it when it's negative or a potential threat than when it's positive. If we observe someone do something, we interpret that it means something wonderful, rewarding, then we will confirm that they've done that, but we might only go around that loop twice, maybe 3 times. If we are observing a behavior in someone and we interpret that it means something we think that is threatening to us in some vague way, and then we confirm, we go find other examples in our memory of that, we will go around that loop much faster and many more times. In fact, we'll go around that loop until something else threatens us and gets us out of that ditch, countless number of times. So be really careful. If you're having a problem or a challenge or you're frustrated with someone, go directly to them, and you're going to do the OIC, but I highly recommend that you separate the O in time from the I. Separate what you've observed from what you interpret. In other words, what you think it means, and slow the confirmation down. And when you come directly to a person and talk with them about what you've observed, let them tell you what it actually means. Then confirm together the impact of that meaning and of that behavior. Because the human brain will remember much more efficiently our interpretation or the meaning that we give to things than the things we've actually observed. We're not efficient. We're not good at remembering specific observable behaviors in detail, but we're really good at remembering what we felt like, what it made us feel like, especially if it made us feel threatened. The interpretation side of it is an emotional thing. We're really good at that and very efficient at storing that kind of memory. And then searching, confirming the C and OIC for more of those and getting tied into that loop. Here's a quick exercise. In order for you to do this, you have to watch me. I'm going to do something right here on camera, right in front of you. And it's not going to take very long. And then I'm going to ask you a question. Are you ready? Your eyes on your iPad, your eyes on your computer, your eyes on your phone. You ready? Here we go. There. You see that? Now here's my question. What did you observe? I'm pausing because I want you to either answer it out loud if you're watching this with someone else, or out loud if you're alone. Go ahead and answer that. No one's going to think you're crazy. They already do. Answer it out loud. What did you observe? Have some fun. Drop down into the comments. Remember what you thought and put it in the comments. Here was what I observed. Usually folks will say things like, well, I observed irritation. I observed frustration. I observed he thinks I'm stupid. I observed he doesn't want to be here. He's a jerk. Those kind of things, okay? But what did I ask you? Didn't I ask you what you observed? But what you answered was what you interpreted. Now let's ask it again. What did you observe? Okay, now you know, right? Here's what you observed. I sat back in my chair. I folded my arms. I rolled my eyes, shook my head, pursed my lips, looked at my watch, deep sigh, and turned and looked away. That's what you observed. But your brain didn't answer that question. It answered the question, what does that mean? Now, this is a video. You've got me in some two-dimensional 4K formatted kind of thing, and I'm not right across from you, so the emotional impact of this is a lot lower. If you've got me on a great big screen with high def, sorry about that. You'll get to see every one of my 63 years and every gray hair, and you'll see that all up close to you. It might feel a little more emotional. You might interpret a little more strongly if you've got some big format you're watching. But if you're watching it on your iPhone, you're just going to watch it and you'll go, oh, okay. It probably wouldn't hit you as well. But if we're in person, and I do that in person, you're going to feel it like this. Same thing happens in the workplace. Somebody does that in a meeting, you're all talking about a new idea, and one of the people who you need to have their buy-in, you need them to be passionate and care about this, they just roll their eyes and look away and look out the window. Then they grab their phone, and you can tell from your angle that they're actually on eBay bidding on something, okay? Well, that's when you're going to have that OIC loop that kicks up like that. Supervisor walks by you, your supervisor, and says, we need to talk tomorrow. And then they walk away. You will go from the observation, what you saw and heard, instantly to the eye, the interpretation. We will interpret things. If we think they are threatening to us, we will interpret them with a fear response. And then go to C, which is confirm, and look for other sources of threat in that person or in that situation. All right, that's how the human brain works. How do we use this then for us instead of against us? Let's take the OIC tool and let's use it with one another directly. So what if you and I had a conversation? What if you're sitting across from me? What if we're working together on a team and I did one of those things? Oh, geez. Like that kind of thing? And it bothered you and you felt like, I just don't care about your idea. That's the interpretation. What would you do? After the room cleared or the meeting is over, how about if you come and sit down with me and instead of saying to me, why don't you like my idea? That's like the person earlier, you're angry, aren't you, right? Why don't you like my idea? And then I'd say, what are you talking about? Well, I love your idea. No, you don't. Yeah, I really do like your idea. Well, clearly you don't like my idea. Well, what you did was to go from the observation of my behavior to the I, the interpretation, and you're coming at me with the interpretation. I got no clue what you're talking about, right? Here's the way to talk with me. Hey, in the meeting, when I said this, I noticed that you sat back, folded your arms, kind of rolled your eyes, shook your head, and looked out the window. Then ask me about the I. What does that mean? Can you interpret that for me? Just ask me. Just ask me. I might not even remember having done it. Or I might have realized, we're in a downtown setting here and I got to pay for parking, and I just glanced at my watch and realized, oh, great. I'm going to get a $28 parking ticket. Oh, great. That's the third one this week. I got to start riding the bus or taking an Uber. I got to do something. That's where my mind went. And it was triggered by something you said, or maybe not. Maybe my mind just went there. But what you saw when you were talking about your idea was that response, and you thought I didn't like your idea. It had nothing to do with your idea. Maybe what you saw was me realizing, wow, that breakfast burrito is about ready to back up on me. How long is this meeting going to go? And I've stopped listening completely. Or maybe I don't like your idea. Maybe your interpretation is correct. Maybe now you give me the respect that I will give you. When you sit down and say, hey, you know what, Dee, you folded your arms and rolled your eyes when I came up with that idea. What does that mean? Now I can say to you directly, oh, okay, I guess I didn't really do that, but here's what I was thinking. We've talked about this idea 11 times. And every time I bring this idea up, you shoot it down. Now you bring it up, and now it's the best thing on the planet. I still think it's a great idea, but why did you shoot it down 11 different times? You see, so because you gave me the respect that I want to give you, you simply said, here's what I observed, Can you tell me what that means? Then we go to the C, the confirmation, which is, okay, let's confirm. Now where do we go? Now what are we going to do about this? So you boil all this down. And instead of being frustrated about somebody and going out of the room and triangulating about me because I rolled my eyes and looked out the window or whatever, instead of triangulating about, oh, he doesn't like my idea, how about coming directly to me? How about if I come directly to a person and say, here's what I've observed, but keep it behavioral. Do not go internal. Do not figure out what a person's intent is. Let them tell you. Don't get into their psychology. Let them tell you. This is how you do direct communication. Give the person the respect they deserve by merely holding a mirror up to them and showing them what their behavior was, instead of performing some sort of open brain surgery and getting into their thoughts and telling them what they think. Doesn't work. Doesn't work very well. It is a great way to communicate. If you try this once or twice, maybe 3 times with different people over little things, you will love this way of communicating. Always talk about what you've observed. And if the person goes, oh, well, okay, I get that. Here's what I was thinking when I did that. Then you are actually going to grow your bonds of trust with one another. You're going to work better under pressure. It'll be a great way to go. I love it. It's an awesome tool. So hopefully this is helpful for you. When we learned this years ago, it sure started being helpful for us. Like any discipline, you have to kind of prompt yourself to use it. And so I recommend you use it and try it out today with somebody over something really, really small. See what happens. So you know the drill. If you like this, hit that like button. And if you want more of this and you want to know when it happens, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon, because that tells you when there's new content. Leadership matters. Thanks. Have a great day.